Hello, people. Welcome to the Meet Mentor YouTube channel. So let's say that two entrepreneurs start their businesses at the same exact time in the same exact industry. If you notice that they are both expanding at the same time, but then they encounter a wall or an obstacle. The first one experiences a significant decline while the second one doesn't, and the gap between them widens. The reason for this is that one of the entrepreneurs was able to handle the situation. If you want more of this content, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. First and foremost, innovation is essential when a firm is expanding and you reach a point when everything becomes monotonous and you stop expanding. One of the contributing issues can be the lack of new ideas, inventive strategies, and innovative tactics. The next marketing campaign will be business as usual, and when there is a lack of imagination, boredom sets in. People start searching elsewhere, and you lose consumers, workers, agents, and salespeople. So you have to be innovative. When you hit a brick wall, one of the two entrepreneurs has the cash on hand to reinvest in the company in a way that will help it grow or solve the issue. Whereas the other has been spending all the cash or taking too much income out, which leaves them without it and causes them to lose momentum. This is the second option you'll have to consider. Another challenge you'll encounter is a lack of resources, among many others. You could have the chance to invest in technology, expand your business, and hire a new C-suite executive who will offer the abilities and skills necessary to help your company thrive. But if you've been overspending, you won't have the $200,000 needed to hire that C-suite executive. Resources and creativity have already been covered. Let's now talk about another difficulty you could overcome: talent. I was reading I think it's called Powerful by Patty McCourt when I noticed that on one side of the book. She worked for Netflix for years and was essentially their chief human resources officer. If you're interested in this story, kindly like this video. One day, one of the departments approached her and said, "Hey, I want to hire 50 employees at $50,000 because I need that support for my department." "Why 50 at $50,000? She asks. She says, "That's because I need it." And Patty says, "What makes you think 50 at 50,000? In response, "It's 1 in a million or 25. He said that by proposing that it may not be 50 at 50, he wasn't denying the $2.5 million budget and that perhaps it was 10 at 250 instead of 50 at 50. The talent you need here won't be able to handle it here, and the talent you have here may be good enough but may not be good enough here. So you had better be constantly expanding your talent pool, because if you don't do that, you won't be able to handle the business as it grows." At first, I thought, let's just get anybody here to help us out, maybe $15 an hour, and I can afford to pay somebody $50K a year, maybe $75K, maybe $100K. However, if you stick with that same exact talent, they may not be as effective at $50 million a year, $100 million a year, or $1 billion per year as they were at $1 million, $5 million, or 10 million euros. You have to assess that obstacle. You can ask why this guy doesn't want it that bad. How come you don't want to grow? Perhaps they just don't, or perhaps they're just happy where they are. What are you going to do? You have to go and find better talent. The next one is contacts, and I want to make sure you approach contacts the same way we did with talent. As an example, the talent pool here may have been suitable for this size of a business, but not for this size, so you must either challenge them or seek out new hires to help you get here. Similarly, your current contacts in your Rolodex may have been suitable, but you may need to make new connections to advance to this level. So how are you? When a group of guys asked me what I do the other night, I replied, I recruit executives for 2 companies from morning until night. One is my insurance company, and the other is Valuetainment. I'm always on the phone with people recruiting. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, it's all about recruiting. So I'm using my data pool of contacts and reaching out to them. Who do you know? The fifth challenge is vision. The previous day, I was on a board meeting with a group of insurance executives who were all making between $20 and $100 million annually. They were all doing well for themselves and were doing very well for themselves, but we were being challenged on how to proceed with a lofty goal. Everyone started to share their suggestions, and then I spoke up. Sometimes when you're making $5 million or $10 million a year, you're netting $2,500,000 a year. You go to the right country clubs. You eat at the right restaurants. You have caviar, lobster, sushi, sea urchin, a car. You have clothes. You have a tailor. And you have all that stuff going on, right? Part of the club, part of the sports team, and part of all that stuff whose parties you attend occasionally. If that suggestion was favorable to you, kindly comment below this video. I bought into your fire 5 years ago, and I bought into it again last year. Where is that fire now? Where is the person whose fire I chose to want to run with and work with? What happened to that person's fire? If you don't get your act together and figure out how to take your vision to the next level, there will always be a dip because the talent pool you have at your company will say things like, I want to run with someone too. When I first started working with this man 11 or 12 years ago, he told me that this software was built for businesses of this size. So one day, 3 years ago, when we were talking, he said, Pat, I got some bad news for you. My software is not built for a big company. The way you're going right now, I can't sustain this. I replied, buddy, my software is not built for a big company. If you appreciate our content, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. We go through 8 weeks of the entire findings and, as you may know, every week in our conference room, we have 230 new sticky pads. After 8 weeks, we then come out with a work order this size, and we then go around and see how much it's going to cost. The cost came to somewhere between $3 and $5 million. Our man hours, their man hours, engineers, all of them. We built the software, which is why I was about to face a significant challenge if I didn't get the technology. Now, watch this. I could have been stubborn and said, oh, it's going to be okay. But the truth is that it didn't work for this side, Mr. Bed David, and it might work for this size, but it will break at this side. So what do you want to do? You have the resources. If you think about it right now, in fact, I want you to go back and think about it. Go back 5 years ago. Who was your number one business adversary? You will have new opponents every time you grow. If I flash back 3 years, who was your number one enemy? Go back 5 years to when that was the case. In 2018, who did you fall asleep contemplating as your enemy? Go to 2017. Suppose 2016. Suppose 2015, 2011. How about? Do you observe how you return? Do you even consider that adversary now if you've been improving yourself and growing? You must graduate from enemies, but as you do so, new adversaries emerge, some of which are political, some of which are government-related, and some of which are lawyers. The only way to defeat an enemy you're up against is to remain little and stay extremely small in a community. The smaller you are, the less enemies you have. Some of the enemies you're going up against include another person, a market share, or any aspect of your business that you cannot erase. That concludes today's video, then. Give this video a like, comment, and if you found it interesting, subscribe to our channel for more videos with similar themes. Till then, bye. I'll see you in the next video entitled, How One Recommendation Earned Me $50 Million. Learn the Art of Referrals.